Good evening, Nigeria. Welcome to another electrifying episode of the Issues on Voice of the People TV, the home of fearless debate and honest conversation. I am your host, Jerry Opelion, and tonight we're going in deep. No filters, no holding back, just a fact, fire, and fierce analysis. Coming up tonight, the tall thief raises the alarm, calling the Benue killings a genocide, not just clashes. Is this a national emergency being ignored? And secondly, General Yakubu Gowon stirs the hornet's nest, downplaying the Biafran death toll and pointing fingers. Is this historical revision or hard truth? And furthermore, LP is under fire as Chairman Allen Oyema says there is a targeted campaign against Nigerians' own. Is this a case of ethnic bias or legitimate criticism? These aren't just stories, these are flashpoints in our national conscience. And tonight, our fearless panel of analysts is here ready to dissect, debate, and deliver insights like never before. Trust me, this is a conversation that could shift perspectives. So fasten your seatbelts. Nigeria, this isn't just a television. This is a national intervention. This is the Issues, and this is where Nigerian speaks. After this short break, we'll dig deeper into these topics and more. Don't go away. Welcome back. Let's dive straight into today's discussion. We start off with the tall thief, the fifth, James Ayase, has urged President Bola Tinubu to recognize the killings in Benue State as a deliberate and ongoing campaign of genocide rather than mere clashes between farmers and herders. During a stakeholder meeting in Benue, the monarch emphasized that the crisis is being misrepresented, leading to misguided calls for peace and coexistence. Ayase described the violence as a long-running, calculated invasion driven by land-grabbing motives from armed herders and bandits. He insisted that the conflict is not communal or retaliatory in nature, but a systematic attempt to displace indigenous communities and seize their lands under the guise of local disputes. We'll take a listen from the man himself and definitely we'll dissect.
We do have grave concern about the misinformation and misrepresentation of the security crisis in Benue State. Your Excellencies, it is not herder farmers clashes, it's not communal clashes, it's not repressor attacks or skirmishes. It is this misinformation that has led to suggestions such as remain tolerant, negotiate for peace, learn to live with your neighbors. What we are dealing with here in Benue is a calculated, well-planned, full-scale genocidal invasion and land-grabbing campaign by herder terrorists and bandits, which has been on for decades and is worsening every year. Wrong diagnosis will always lead to wrong treatment. So we are dealing with something far more sinister than we think about. It's not learning to live with your neighbors. It is dealing with a war.
All right, you can hear him there. He warned that failing to properly diagnose the true nature of the conflict would lead to ineffective responses. The talkative concluded by stating that the situation is not about tolerance, but rather an undeclared war that must be treated as a national emergency requiring decisive action. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by two esteemed guests. Here in the studio, we have Dr. Peter Anosike. Dr. Anosike is a philosopher, development economist, and best-selling author. He is also an erudite commentator on economy, finance, politics, and power. Great to have you join us.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. Joining us virtually from Port Harcourt is Dr. Eric Thomas, who is a public affairs analyst, a consultant, obstetrician, and gynecologist. All right, we understand that Dr. Eric is not yet with us, but we'll deal with the doctor with us already in the studio, talking about Dr. Peter. Taking a look at the situation, why has the federal government consistently framed the Benue crisis as farmer-herder clashes, despite repeated claims of genocide?
Well, I'm happy that the talkative has stated what is going on in Benue State. It is not that the president is not aware. The president is aware. The former president is aware. Everybody knows what is going on. Even when Tinubu said that he had given the governor order to reconcile the warring communities, I counted it here. I say it is not one community fighting the other. That this is a land grabbing by a foreign ethnic group. And that's exactly what he has said. So Tinubu knows the truth. Every enlightened Nigerian knows what is happening in Benue and Plateau State. So, but I'm happy that he has not played politics. He has stated what is happening in Benue State. The only thing is that he did not mention all the people involved. Understand me? He just said that that this terrorist headers. No, these are Fulanese that has come to take the land of Benue people because they said that it belonged to them. These are Fulanese that has come to take over lands in Benue and in Plateau State, because they say that during the jihadists of Othman Danfodio that they conquered up to Benue State. So this is exactly what is happening, that this is their land and they are coming to take over what belongs to them. Everybody knows this. So when they are talking about communal, it is not. In Plateau State, the same people are sacking communities and renaming the names of the communities into Fufude, which is the dialect of the Fulanese. They are sacking communities and renaming it Fufude. The same thing is what is going on in Benue State. So now saying that it is headers, farmers, or one community versus the other is just a deception. But I'm happy that the monarch has said the truth. But it is not really that anything will be done about it. Understand me? It is not that anything will be done.
So you're saying the visit of the president is not going to
change anything? It will not change anything.
So what was now the purpose? And
this is ceremonial. This is ceremonial. The president just was pressurized into coming to Benue because people were already complaining. People will be complaining. Other Nigerians complain. Why hasn't Tinubu visited Benue? Now he had fulfilled all righteousness. I am now in Benue. I have heard what is going on in Benue. Then I'll go back and do something. But he's not going to do anything. As he said, it did not start today. It has been ongoing. I will continue to be ongoing because the commander-in-chief of the armed forces that we have been having in the country has refused to do anything about it. When they come as headers with their cows, but that's not their main mission. But that is the easiest way for them to enter. Understand? They come as headers, now settle down and begin to operate. The security operatives know all this. Even the CDS said that what is happening in Benue is a sabotage. That's his exact word. That what is happening in Benue is a sabotage. And the Tinubu say it's a communal clash. But the third chief has today told Tinubu that it is genocide. It is a war that has been declared on the land of the people in Benue. Mind you, when Femi Adesina was the media advisor to President Muhammadu Buhari, if Nigerians have a retentive memory, Adesina said, instead of being killed because of your ancestral land, leave it and you run away. Understand me? That was the exact word that Femi Adesina used. Instead of being killed, while trying to protect your land, leave it and run away and leave. So that's exactly what is happening in Benue. Up to today, Agatu has not been rebuilt. The people, the natives of Agatu are now in IDP camps. This community that you see now, go there next year, it will still be as it is, ruined and deserted. I'm sure the members of the community, they will build another IDP camp for them. So this is what every knowledgeable Nigerian knows, and the truth that Tinubu, that the Totiv has said today. Now, what was Tinubu's response? Even if he wants to respond, it's going to be academic.
But he paid so much attention. We saw him visit the hospitals where the victims who were injured were being treated. And we saw a reflection of him looking remorseful. And he also made mention of the fact that how come no arrest has been made? And he said that these bandits, criminals, should be apprehended by all costs. Is this not a statement of fact of the president that he is more or less concerned and willing to do something?
We have been hearing this thing over and over. We have been hearing this. The other time, I told you how many within 24 hours in Edo, 14 people had been arrested and taken to Abuja. 14 people within 24 hours. Now 200 people were killed for almost a week now, no single arrest. What does that show you? I told you that these people are being protected. These people are on a mission, a known mission known by every Nigerian. So saying, why has no arrest been made? So are you now, so maybe tomorrow now, police will come up with maybe 10 people. Will you believe that it is those people? Because the people that committed this thing will not be around there as we speak. They have more than 72 hours to escape. So tomorrow, police may even go to prison yard, bring out 20 people and say that arrests have been made, just to show that they are doing something. And when this magnitude of a thing happens, 48 hours, you've not done anything, those people cannot be there, fold their hand waiting to be arrested. Understand? So saying why no arrests have been made is because they are not supposed to be arrested. Agatu, how many arrests was made? How many people were prosecuted? And this one now, that's all we are doing is recycling history. Today is 18th of June. Before 18th of July, we'll still be talking about Benue and United States.
What is the political solution? Had it been you were the president, Dr. Anosike, what would you be doing now? Because 48 hours has almost elapsed if you want to look at it. So,
48 hours how?
Talking about the killings, these guys have already escaped.
When was the killing happened? You are talking of 48 hours. 48 hours is 2 days.
Yes.
This killing happened at the weekend.
Yeah, I say it has already elapsed. So what would you do if you are the president?
If the president is serious, he should start by disarming those herdsmen.
These herdsmen are not just walking down the street like the Uromi people that were caught within their located environment. These guys are in the forest and hiding.
They are not hiding.
You think?
They are not hiding. They are going everywhere with their AK-47 on their neck as if it is a walking stick. They are not hiding because they have been unwittingly given permission to be carrying those guns.
By whom? Are you saying by the same government who is supposed to protect civilians from these bandits and non-state actors?
I say they have been given permission to be carrying those AK-47. I told you here that those herders are not the owners of those cows. Those cows are owned by the big politicians. Understand me? So that's why they are being protected. That's why they are being in Nigeria. Cows are more valued than human beings. I'm telling you, in Nigeria government value cow more than human beings. It is better to kill human beings in Nigeria than to kill the cows. Understand? So saying that why haven't they been arrested? The president also know the answer. So if they are serious about this, what they should start doing is by disarming the herdsmen, protecting our borders. Understand? Because what is happening now in the Middle East, Iran will be falling very soon. And Iran-Iraq has a common boundary. People will be rushing to Iraq with arms and ammunition. And from Iraq, they will enter the Sahel region. So if they are thinking, if they are this is now to begin to protect our borders, because already leaders of Iran are running out. Understand me? So those with the guns and ammunition, their soldiers will now be run out of Iran with their guns, and they will be entering Iraq. From Iraq, they are coming down to Sahel. So more guns are going to come into Nigeria. This ISWAP, Boko Haram, and so on and so forth will now be having more sophisticated weapons. So insecurity in Nigeria is going to increase. Understand? So what I'm giving them now is an information that they should work on. Maybe if they are not thinking about it. Understand? If they are not thinking about it, with the fall of Iran, more arms is going to enter Nigeria. So what they should be doing is to find a way of protecting our borders.
So how do they protect our borders? Are they going to build a perimeter fence like America is doing, for instance, and Israel is doing as far as the Gaza Strip is concerned? Do we have the capacity to have such a border patrol, our borders well patrolled?
All the borders in the country have both immigration and other paramilitary agencies there. Understand? All the borders in the country. But the truth is that they are corrupt. Understand me? They are corrupt. When you give them something, they will allow you to pass. It is not really that the borders are not being manned. People that are there, Idiroko is manned, understand? Seme is manned. But everything is coming through on a daily basis because the borders, those manning or the borders are not are easily compromised. Understand me?
Okay, what does the government's silence or inaction imply about its stance on the displacement of indigenous communities? Because it's even more dangerous from your explanation that these people believe that the land belongs to them. From the time of Usman Dan Fodio. I read the book talking about the jihad of the Usman Dan Fodio era, and it's more or less Islamizing a particular region. But if that is the case, if these men have this belief that this land belongs to them, that means no matter what is done, they will still continue to come back and want to claim the land that they believe belongs to them. What is now the solution? Because it looks like they've been indoctrinated and they have the belief that it belongs to them. So what is going to change their mindset? What about the leaders of the Fulanis? What are they? Can the government reach out to them and have a political solution to this problem so that it will not continue to become a situation, because this has been on for donkeys of years?
The only thing that federal government is treating Nigerians separately. I told you on this program that Nigeria is like animal farm, where some animals are more equal than the others. So they are treating Nigeria like animal farm, where the Fulanis are more equal than the others. Understand? So they are given advantage. They are allowed to get whatever they want in the country. They are allowed to get whatever they want in the country. But if everybody will be treated fairly, understand? Benue people will rise up and fight. Plateau people will rise up and fight. But they have known that that if they come out openly, they will be used as escape goods. Understand me? Okay, over 5 days after the killing, no single person had been arrested because it is not Fulani people. Assuming that it's one Fulani man that was killed, well, more than 20 people would have been arrested. So with that, the courage, the boldness will not be there because there's discrimination in treatment. We are still practicing apartheid in Nigeria. Understand? So this is why people cannot rise up and fight. The governor, Andia, know what is happening. But because he is seeing himself as an inferior species of Nigerian, he doesn't want to come out boldly and say what is happening. And that's what the Tortif said today is what the governor would have said a long time ago. Understand me? Okay. What the Tortif said today is what the governor would have said, because the governor knows the truth.
All right, we have two scenarios I want us to play out here, because let's listen to the words of the president himself talking at that town hall meeting where the governor of the state was present alongside major stakeholders in the Benue state. And of course, there was also a flip side where the citizens, the youth in Benue, didn't want to see any APC flag on site. They were not really happy with all the ceremony that was put in place to welcome the president. They were displeased at the manner in which the governor did it. But let's take a listen from the president and of course look at the flip side of the youths in their reaction on the visit of the president.
equally find a channel, a radio station for Benue, work with them, so that we keep talking to each other about tolerance, the capacity to build our family as one single family. I salute those who have governed this state before, and particularly my friend, Ojukwu. We didn't have to come. We received a lot of yams and food stuff from him. Not dead bodies. Let us please find a way to form a committee of elders here that committee to comprise those who had governed this state before, including Atom Pera, to be the committee to really find a permanent accommodation. I'm glad the
We not see any. We don't need APC to
collect all. Collect all the flags. Collect all the flags. Collect them. Collect them. Collect all the flags.
All right, I hope you understand those two scenarios. But there's something I picked from the president's speech. He made mention of the fact that he commended the past governors of Benue State. He rightly mentioned, like I heard correctly, George Akume. And he said that during his time, he received yams as a kind of a welcome and of course a gift coming from Benue State, but not dead bodies. Is that an indictment on the current governor, Hyacinth Alia, saying that he lacks the capacity unlike the past governors? And he also made mention of something. He said there should be a committee set up where the past governors should be invited. Isn't that not saying, is the president not indirectly telling us that the present governor lacks the capacity to take the state out of the situation? He will need the help of past governors, and it looks like he has not been carrying the community leaders along.
That's not the issue.
Okay.
For me, Tinubu said nothing in Benue State. Tinubu said nothing in Benue State, assuming that that the Benue people are deep thinkers. One, this is not the issue of tolerance. It is not the issue of accommodating one another. It is not. These are jihadists, terrorists coming to take your land. That is the issue on board. Terrorists on a mission to take your land. So it's not a peaceful settlement. I don't know what he meant by finding a permanent accommodation. For which people? So for me, The only person that spoke there is the authority who said actually what is happening in Benue. And again, you can see how stupid, how insensitive that people are by trying to display a APC this thing. Understand me? So, with 200 dead bodies, people still have that mind to politicize an issue. So for me, that shows there's no hope for this country.
But these same people are supposedly Benue citizens who want to be brandishing flags and campaigning.
Some politicians may have given them money. Go and show Tinubu that APC has presence here. APC is at the federal, APC is at the center, and your people are being butchered on a daily basis. And you still have that stupid gut, arrogance, to be showing the logo of the party that is in charge, and your people are being killed. So this shows you the level of insensitivity of the people, not just in Benue, in Nigeria as a whole.
All right, let's go to another very interesting story, and where former Nigerian military leader General Yakubu Gowon has stirred renewed controversy over the Biafran War by downplaying the widely accepted death toll and shifting blame to the Biafran side for the humanitarian crisis. In a recent interview, Gowon claimed that casualties were not in millions and alleged that Biafran forces blocked relief efforts meant for civilians. He emphasized that federal troops were instructed to protect women and children and denied accusations that the war was an ethnic assault on the Igbo people. Gowon also shed light on the failed Aburi Accord, which was meant to prevent the war. He revealed that the main disagreement stemmed from Biafran leader Chukwuemeka Ojukwu's demand for regional control of military forces, a move Gowon said the federal government saw as a push towards secession. And the federal side viewed the meeting as a platform for unity, not for restructuring Nigeria into autonomous regions, and instead insisted that a unified military chain of command was non-negotiable. According to Gowon, post-Aburi effort to salvage the agreement failed when Ojukwu refused to attend a follow-up meeting in Benin City. He maintained that the federal government remained committed to peace but could not concede to demands that threatened Nigerian sovereignty. Gowon's reflections come amid ongoing national discourse about reconciliation, justice, and unity more than 5 decades after the Civil War. Dr. Anosike, does General Gowon's denial of the Biafran War death toll amount to historical revisionism, and what at the risk of downplaying such a humanitarian tragedy?
Well, for me, Gowon would only tell those who don't know history. I've already written about all these things in my book, 100 Years of Amalgamation, Igbo, What's Hope in Nigeria, which I published in 2014. So I've already written about this. So Gowon is a coward. Understand? And at his age now, 90-something, he's already suffering from amnesia.
Dr. Anosike. Dr. Anosike, very, very interesting. I think that your word will hit so hard, because if we listen to Gowon, let's listen to his words in his own words, and of course come back to analyze what he has just said about the Biafran War.
I think I have said that if the East does not break up from Nigeria, yes, and that was what I kept on saying. Why people say that you want to say no, I have a responsibility, to keep Nigeria, not Nigeria. And as far as I'm concerned, that is my take. And I want that if from the situation
All right, taking a look at this very interesting. By blaming Biafran forces for blocking aid by Gowon, is Gowon deflecting responsibility for a conflict largely controlled by the federal military?
Excuse me, Gowon is a coward. To start with, Gowon was in government, Gowon was not in power. Gowon was in government, Gowon was not in power. They call Northerners we are in power. Understand me? Sheikh Musa Yar'Adua, Murtala Muhammad, these are the people that were in power. Gowon was just a figurehead. Understand me? By the end of 1966, there were already 1.8 million refugees in the southeast. By the end of 1966, there were already 1.8 million refugees in the southeast, that's in eastern region. What happened? After the 1966 coup, which in order to give a dog a bad name, they called it an Igbo coup, which we all know that those young soldiers did a service to the Igbos. Because before 1966, Igbos were dominating the government. Igbos were dominating the economy. Igbos were dominating everywhere. Zike was the president general. Tafawa Balewa was the prime minister. Nwafọ Orizu was the senate president. Then check all the other ministries. Igbos were dominating. So it was a coup against the Igbos. That 1966 coup was a coup against the Igbos. So when after that the 1966 coup, then Sadwana Amadu Bello was killed. Tafawa Balewa was killed. Okpara was not killed. Understand me? Then Azikiwe was not killed. So the Northerners become angry. They now begin to kill Igbos in the north. They began to kill Igbos in the north, and Gowon couldn't do anything about it because he wasn't in charge. Understand? Yar'Adua, Murtala Muhammad, who were in charge of the government, and now the killing to continue to happen. Understand? So that was what led even this Aburi Accord was just a conference organized by the British government. Harold Wilson was the prime minister as we speak. Then David Hunt was the British High Commissioner to Nigeria. So they organized this conference in Aburi. Aburi is a town in Ghana. So, and Ojukwu went there with his own men. Gowon came alone. So, at the end of after the discussion, they agreed and signed an agreement.
Was the talking about the appearance of Gowon alone an indication that those who were behind Gowon was not in support of the Aburi Accord, and there was already preparation that whatever comes of the accord they will not accept?
When they come back, that's if you read what Gowon said, he said that when he come back, he had a typhoid and malaria, and that delayed the implementation of the accord, which is a lie. When he came back, he showed Yar'Adua and Murtala Muhammad what he signed. They told him, by signing this agreement, you have sold Nigeria to Ojukwu. Third this agreement. Understand me? Third this agreement. It was them that mandated Gowon to tore the agreement. When he tore it, now Ojukwu say, I'm not taking anything from you. On this agreement, we will stand. We must implement what we agreed on this agreement. On the Benin meeting, Ojukwu has an intelligence that he will be assassinated if we go there. Understand me? Ojukwu had an intelligence that he will be killed if we go there. That was why Ojukwu abstained himself from the meeting. Ojukwu said there's no need for a meeting. We've gone to Ghana and signed an agreement on Aburi we stand. That's how that word came, on Aburi we stand. Since we have signed an agreement, let us implement what we signed. So saying that it was Ojukwu's fault, he doesn't want to tell the truth. And the truth is that Gowon is a coward, a born coward. Okay, and karma is working. It was the Benue and the two people that the Northerners used to fight the war. Because that time we have 12 states. Understand me? That time we have 12 states. Benue and Plateau was one state. Today, what is happening in these two states? What is happening? So Bible says, with what you measured, we measured unto you. And I'm happy that Gowon is alive and seeing what is happening to his own people. That's one of the reasons that God kept him alive. To see what's happening to his own people. So what he measured to the Igbos are being measured to his own people.
That's another way to look at it. But over 50 years later, has Nigeria generally reckoned with the legacy of the Biafran War? Or is the country still avoiding a national conversation on justice and reconciliation?
No, they are, with what the Igbos did within 3 years, they are afraid of bringing Igbos back to Nigeria.
Well, the Igbos not in Nigeria already.
We are not. We have not been reconciled to Nigeria.
Well, the Igbos are still allowed to do business and live free as Nigerians.
Peter Nosiki is an Igbo man who comes to Nigeria to hustle. Understand me? We have not been reconciled. So every Igbo man that is in Lagos, is in Abuja, is hustling. Just like you going to UK, going to the United States, going to Canada to hustle. That's what I'm doing. After you go back to where you come from. So they tell our reconciliation, Igbos have not been reconciled back to Nigeria. And that's why Nigeria is making one step forward, 5 steps backward. And it will continue like that.
Without a solution?
It will not. Where there's no peace, where there's no justice, there can never be peace. Because there's no justice in Nigeria, we cannot move forward.
All right, talking about peace, LP's chairman, talking about Dr. Allen Oyema, has condemned what he described as a targeted campaign against the airline, calling on Nigerians to abandon the harmful culture of pulling down their own. And speaking amid tensions with Senator Adams Oshomole over an airport incident, Oyema emphasized that LPs deserves appreciation for his numerous contributions to Nigeria, including offering free services to support the nation. Addressing journalists in Lagos, Oyema warned against ethnic bias and hostility toward indigenous businesses, urging citizens and government agencies to protect and promote local enterprises. But we've seen a lot of reports about the way LPs have treated their customers. And it's not about ethnic bias or whatever. We have even had family members who complain about talking about the customer relation of LPs. I think they need to address that first before they come out and start looking at those who are after them.
When this issue happened, I told you on this program that within the next 1 month, that federal government will sanction APs. that they will start looking into the books of APs that to find fault. And that's exactly what is going on now. Understand me? Because Oshuambone was at fault in that. Understand me?
Well, APs have been found wanting of bad customer relations.
We are talking of what happened to Adams Oshuambone. That's where all this thing started. This guy was strolling to the airport as if he's going to his backyard. If you are going to the airport, boarding time is always an hour before this thing take off.
Okay.
Understand me?
Yeah.
Boarding time is always an hour before take off. They have to take off at 6:30. Adams arrived at 6:20. Who is he? Who is he?
The Senator of the Federal Republic.
Who is he? So 300 people that has already been booked, that has businesses in Abuja, will be waiting for an individual. Because he is a what? Senator.
All right. Dr. Anosike, it's been a pleasure having your insights. We have to go. Thank you very much for being a part of the issues.
Thank you for having me.
I can see, if you see, talking about the senator himself, I think he will not have it easy from Dr. Anosike there. And that's where we leave it tonight, Nigeria. The questions have been asked. The facts have been laid bare. The truth, as always, is yours to decide. From the genocide claims in Benue to Gowon's Civil War reflections and the firestorm around the air peace, one thing is clear: Nigeria is at a crossroads, and we the people must stay awake. Remember, silence is not neutrality. Your voice matters. Your actions shape the future. A big thank you to our panel of analysts for bringing the heat and the honesty. And to you, our viewers, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay ready. I am Jerry Apeliohai, and this has been the issues on Voice of the People TV. Good night, Nigeria. Stay strong, stay smart, and stay united.